They don't want English because, I mean, well, I guess they were. I can't figure this out because, I mean, 90% of my family is French.
Right.
I mean, and where do you think they're working? In Ontario. They can't get a job here in Quebec.
Why?
Well, there's no work in Quebec. There's no companies who want to stay in Quebec.
Why?
Because of the language. So, I mean, they got to put everything.
But I mean, Jerry, I don't know for whom you voted, and I don't. It's none of my business. But the fact is that when given the opportunity, you returned to power a government that made it very plain that they were going to further discriminate against the Anglos. Do you know one of the meanest, sinister things that Bill 14 says is that any community with less than 50% of those with English as a mother tongue will lose their bilingual status. That means that no one, let's take Chelsea, okay, which would lose its bilingual status. That means that nobody in Chelsea will be able to get any service, including health service, in English. No one will be allowed by law to speak to them in English.
Yeah, that's right.
By law.
That's because the English-speaking people, I mean, I try to get them to stand up.
I mean,
the federal government, I mean, they got the right. Discrimination is against the law.
No, but the fact is that when they announced Bill 14, about 200 people, most of them, as I say, well over the age of 50, showed up to protest in Montreal. I mean, let's be very frank. The English population in Quebec has thrown in the towel. So now the question remains for Ontario. Okay, English has thrown in the towel. Why then are we continuing to try to placate Quebec when very clearly they will not be placated?
Well, this is the federal government. It's the federal government that's doing it.
Doing what?
That's helping the separatists out. I told you before that all those NDPers, they were all separatists.
Well, the federal government didn't elect them. Your people in Quebec elected them.
Well, I mean, I didn't elect them.
No, but your people did. Got to move on here, sir. Listen, Jerry, I appreciate your call, sir.
Okay,
let's talk to Borden. You're on CFRA. Morning, Borden.
All right. I was born in Montreal, and it very much depresses me that the province as a whole has become racist, and it is. It's a racist policy, and anyone who doesn't see it as that is naive or just willingly foolish.
So what should we do then in the rest of the country, sir?
What should we do? Well,
yep.
As a thought, I mean, just as a thought, because I'm sure those who are in power want to stay in power will do everything they can to do so. But I do honestly believe that it is time to say goodbye to Quebec.
And I've come to that conclusion that it's time that we had a referendum in the rest of Canada, whether we want
Absolutely,
Quebec.
I agree.
Let me just finish. But that doesn't solve the question of bilingualism in the rest of the country. The Official Languages Act states that both official languages are supposed to have equal rights. Very clearly they don't in Quebec. So if Quebec is gone, what are we to do in the rest of the country about the use of French? Should we revoke the Official Languages Act?
Yes.
In Quebec, it's now accepted by everybody, including Anglos, that if you're living in Quebec and want to work there, you got to speak French. That's just the way it is. So why would we not say, listen, the same thing here? Look, if you live in Ontario or Manitoba, you got to speak English. But what makes me laugh is that NDP official languages critic Yvon Gaudin talking about the Official Languages Act. Well, I have news for you, folks. The Official Languages Act says that you're supposed to have equal rights in both official languages throughout Canada, that both languages have equal rights. Well, he comes from a province where there are no English rights whatsoever. The only English right you have in the province of Quebec today is to pay your taxes, but that's got to be in French, too. Brian, you're on CFRA. Good morning, sir.
Hi there.
Yes,
I
sir.
was in Quebec for 10 years when the bombs were going off.
Yes, the FLQ. And this we've got to start asking ourselves why, in light of the fact that Quebec is essentially unilingual now and will become even more so, why then in the rest of the country should we be bilingual?
We shouldn't.
My point is that things have really calmed down. Passions have calmed down. The Anglos in Quebec, they've given up, thrown in the towel. There's no more passion. We on this side, we're ready to let them go. I'm sure that we could sit down as adult people, responsible people, and negotiate a settlement, sir. They did it in the Czech Republic and Slovakia.
I want to tell you something a separatist told me when I was working in Quebec.
Sure.
He says, you Anglos make us laugh. You're falling over each other to become bilingual. If every Anglo in Quebec became bilingual overnight, we'd judge you by your last name.
Yeah,
we
well, that could be.
actually want you out.
Yeah. David, you're on CFRA. Good morning.
Good morning, Lowell.
Yes, sir.
Lowell, I just got back from a cruise. I have a little experience to tell you about.
Sure.
But before that, I got to tell you, Lowell, boy, we deserve what we get. You know, the ostrich has nothing on the English population.
Yeah, you're right.
Am I right or what?
Yeah, you're right.
Come on.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think we're moving more and more towards it. When we finally stop equalization, we're going to do that. You know,
Yeah.
that'll be
You
the
think
end
so?
of it. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me tell you about my experience.
Sure.
Okay, I'm in Florida. We got off the ship. We're a little hungry.
Right.
You can believe that. Anyway, there's a little hamburger joint, so we slid in there, and there's 3 or 4 people in front of me. And the guy in front of me, when it's his turn, he looks up at the board and he says, je veux avoir, and that means for the people that don't speak French, I would like, but he gave it, the guy in the back flipping the hamburgers
Yeah.
said, hey, you, get the hell out if you can't speak American. Honest to God, Lowell, get the hell out or speak American.
Sounds like the soup Nazi.
Well, you see, they're trying it in the United States, too. You know the story about Hollywood, where they had their own radio station for a while.
Yeah.
And that got cut off because there's just no end to their demands, Lowell. It's never, ever going to end.
Well, I'm not sure if it's the demands that are the problem or the fact that we seem so willing to adhere to them.
Oh, yeah, we bend over backwards.
I mean, now there's a big stink. I mean, with all of the problems we've got in the world today, there's a big stink over the fact that John Baird has a business card only in English.
Yeah, but did John Baird stand up and say, kiss my you-know-what?
I'm sure.
No, he didn't. And he's a conservative.
I'm not sure he's
had he
out
said,
of the country.
Had he said, mind your business, I've got what I've got, you know, then we'd have been proud of him. But I know John Baird personally. You know, I helped get him elected.
Yeah.
And they're not retaliating. They're taking it on the chin.
Well, maybe programs like this, which I think you'll hear more and more frequently. I think maybe we're beginning to really question in the rest of Canada. For the first time, it's okay to ask questions about this.
Isn't that wonderful?
Thank you, David. Thank you. Let's talk with. Let's go down to Montreal. Florence, sorry to keep you waiting so long.
I wanted to hang on because I was so pleased with the statements you were making. You were so right, and too few people in English Canada seem to see it so clearly. But a couple of comments I wanted to say. I wonder if you heard the comment made by a Péquiste cabinet minister on Monday to the effect that there's no place for bilingual hospitals in Quebec. Now,
yes.
That's not just discriminatory, that's vicious.
Florence, before you go further, I mean, the facts are, and the statistics, I've got these facts right from Statistics Canada, it's 42% of the few Anglos left want to leave the province. Now, what does that tell you?
That includes me, because I've been here since 1962. I came from America.
No, but I mean, with figures
like
like that, if there was figures like that, very clearly, the English are not being treated fairly in the province of Quebec.
Well, it's more than not fairly, Lowell. That's what I'm saying about the hospitals. That's it. There's the seniors whose children left. Now the children are saying you have to sell the home and move out because it's not just inconvenient.
They don't want you there, Florence. That's a fact that they don't want English people in Quebec. Simple.
That's right, and I liked what you suggested should be done, Lowell. You're so right. They should revoke the languages bill, and they also ought to stop those transfer payments. The province of Quebec is $253 billion, that's with a B as in butter, in debt already, and nothing will drive it home to them. Certainly the French press is not telling the people, but if those transfer payments were stopped and the languages law revoked...
Quebec should go its separate way.
It should.
It's already received, I would say, de facto independent status. The only problem is we continue to pour billions. Thank you, Florence. Thank you. Zach, you're on CFRA. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to talk about Quebec separatism. We could spend hours.
No, I'm not talking about Quebec separatism. I'm talking about the rest of Canada separatism, sir.
Yeah, but you always say, let them leave, let them leave. Do you realize that 55% of Quebecois do not want to leave?
I don't believe that.
Why are you abandoning 55%?
No, I don't believe that.
Well, what was the last referendum?
I don't, because
51-49, right?
The fact of the matter is that you don't need to be a separatist now because you've already received separatist status. You're already an independent nation. Mitch, you're on CFRA. Good morning, Mitch.
Yes, Lowell.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make a reference to that lady who said her sister was operating in a French hospital.
Yes.
It couldn't have been a hospital on the Quebec side.
Why?
Well, if you go to the hospital on Quebec side, you have about a 24-hour wait for an emergency.
She was in Montreal.
She was in Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some of the hospitals around here, because I'm from Quebec.
Right.
And there's no way I will go to a Quebec hospital.
No, you come across here and use our facilities.
Well,
while paying your taxes in Quebec.
Why go for the best?
Yeah, except we got to pay for it.
Well, our government pays for our visit to the hospital.
Doesn't pay as much as the Ontario government pays. That's the problem.
No, that's true.
Down to Montreal again. Alan, you're on CFRA.
Good morning, Lowell. How are you?
Sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think Quebec is already independent. This linguistic ethnic cleansing that we have going on in Quebec, it's worked very well in getting the English out.
Yeah.
And in the rest of Canada, I believe that it's time that the bilingualism should be reevaluated. In my view, it should be stopped.
Why do you still stay in Quebec, Alan?
Well, I'm only here temporarily now.
Okay.
Furthermore, too, what really gets under my skin these days is our Prime Minister starting all his speeches in French. I don't mind if he'd start a few of them in French, but every time I hear him speaking, his first statements are in French. Now, only, less than 25% of our population is French, and I feel it's being quite disrespectful to our English-speaking people in Canada.
Mark, you're on CFRA.
Yeah, hi, Lowell.
Yes, sir.
I don't even know where to start with the Quebec issue. It's, it would affect me directly if Quebec separated. I have clients in Quebec, so
they'd still be there.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying.
I think when you examine, what would be the difference? Quebec essentially has left now. It's a different legal system. It's not multicultural. It's not bilingual. It's not bicultural. What does Quebec share with Canada today?
No, I agree, and my point was going to be I think it's time for them to go. Despite it affecting me personally, we can't continue going on with this debate in perpetuity.
But I wonder if it really would affect you. Your customers would still be there.
But Ontario companies would be pushed out, and there'd be an effect for sure. But, I'm just making the larger point that it's... we can't continue on with this debate forever. And I think you're exactly right that the people who don't want to separate, I think it's largely for selfish reasons, right? For equalization.
They've already left.
Yeah, they control their own immigration, so they basically are an independent nation. And it pains me to say it. I have family, I have good friends in Quebec. I have nothing. Je parle français. I have nothing against French or the French people, but
maybe you know what? Maybe they're right. The more I look at this, you know what? You people are right. You are a distinct nation there.
Agreed.
But buck up your courage. Stop holding the rest of us for ransom. Take the leap. Many other countries have done it, And you know what? Quite successfully. When you examine what happened in Czechoslovakia, both of those countries, they thought there would be economic chaos. There was not.
No, I think they'd be fine. I mean, in the short term, there'd be problems, but long term, I think it would work out well.
Thanks for the call, sir.
Okay.
Last call to Howard. You, sir.
Good evening. Good morning, Noel.
Yes, sir.
Well, Lowell, you and I often disagree, but not on this subject.
Yes.
But to me, it's been obvious for years they should go. Aside from the balance of payments, we get rid of bilingualism and all the costs that has. People who work for the public service and the military could get promoted beyond the rank of such and such because they don't have to be French. It's ridiculous. We have no reason to keep them. Let them go soon.
I think they've already left.